They disrespect you, and then watch your reaction. Not because they hate you, but because they're measuring how much control they have over you. You've felt this before. Someone says something slightly off, slightly disrespectful, and suddenly your chest tightens. You want to respond. You want to defend yourself. And that's exactly the trap. Because the moment you react emotionally, you hand them control. Here's what most people don't understand. Toxic people don't respect strength the way you think. They respect something colder, quieter, harder to touch. In this video, I'll show you the shift that makes toxic people stop testing you without arguing, without explaining. And the last part is where most people lose everything. If this has ever happened to you, stay until the end, because once you see it, you can't go back. They know. There's a small mistake almost everyone makes, and it costs them respect instantly. You're in a conversation. They smile slightly, then say, "You're too sensitive." Not aggressive, not obvious, but enough to hit you. You feel it. You want to respond, explain, correct them, and that's where you lose. The mistake isn't reacting. It's reacting the way they expect you to. Because toxic people aren't looking for truth. They're looking for emotional reaction. Micro story 1. You share an opinion. They interrupt slightly, mocking your tone. You start talking faster, trying to prove your point. And the more you talk, the less control you have. Micro story 2. They text you, "Yeah, I didn't expect much from you anyway." You read it. Your heart rate rises. You type a long response. Delete it, type again. They already won without even being there. False belief break. You think silence makes you weak. No. The right kind of silence makes other people lose control. The move? Pause. 1 second. Look at them. No reaction. No rush. Then just say okay. Or say nothing at all. That gap makes them uncomfortable because they didn't get what they came for. Mini loop. But here's the problem. If you only stay calm, but you keep staying in the situation, nothing really changes. Punchline power is not reacting fast. It's choosing when to react. Do. Staying calm helps you escape the first trap, but this is where things actually start shifting. Knowing when to walk away. Micro story 1. You're sitting with a group. Someone keeps making small comments about you. You laugh it off once, twice. They keep going. Micro story 2. You're texting someone. Their replies get colder, more sarcastic. You try to stay calm. They push again. Most people make the same mistake here. They explain, "I don't like how you're talking to me. You always do this." Sounds reasonable, but in reality, you just open the door to an argument. And toxic people live for that. They twist. They redirect. They pull you deeper. Micro story 3. You've seen this before. You start explaining your feelings, and somehow you end up defending yourself instead. False belief break. You think explaining will make them understand. It won't. It just gives them more ways to control the conversation. The move. You stand up. You leave. No explanation. No warning. No drama. Just gone. Micro story 4. You're in a conversation. They cross a line. You pause. Stand up. Walk out. People are confused, but they're not. They understand exactly what just happened. Psychology. When you don't respond with words, you send a message stronger than words. Mini loop. But here's where it gets interesting. Even if you stay calm, even if you walk away, they might still not respect you. Punchline, leaving without explanation, says, "I don't operate at this level." Part 3. Mid-video peak. This is where most people completely get it wrong. They stop reacting. They start walking away. But they still give toxic people full access to their life. They text, you reply instantly. They call, you pick up. They need something, you show up. Micro story 1. They disrespected you yesterday. Today they text, "Wanna hang out." You still go. Micro story 2. They treat you badly, but when they need help, you still say yes. False belief break. You think you're being kind. You're not. You're teaching them. They can treat you badly and still keep you. In psychology, what's always available loses value. So, what's the move? You don't block them. You don't create drama. You simply pull back. You become less available. You respond slower. You stop prioritizing them. Micro story 3. Before they text, you reply immediately. Now, 3 hours later, maybe the next day. Not as a game, but because your life comes first. And then something shifts. They notice. They adjust. Because now, they can lose you. If you've ever dealt with someone like this, comment 1. And if you want to understand how to fully control these situations, subscribe, because the next part is where most people break. Now, here's the part nobody tells you. You might think this is enough, that once you pull back, everything changes. It doesn't, because some people don't respect distance. They test harder, they push more, they escalate, and that's where most people collapse and go back to reacting. Mini loop. So, what do you do when distance isn't enough? Punchline. When you're not easily available, you become something they can't control. Part cat. This is the level most people never reach. Boundaries without apology. Micro story 1. They ask you to do something you don't want. You say, "Sorry, I can't." Sounds polite, but weak. Micro story 2. They talk to you disrespectfully. You say, I don't really like that, but it's fine." You just erased your own boundary. Mistake. You think being soft makes you easier to respect. It doesn't. It makes you easier to ignore. False belief break. Boundaries plus apology equals weak boundaries. Strong boundaries don't need permission. The move, short, clear. No apology. "No, that doesn't work for me. I'm not doing that." Micro story 3. They push again. "Come on, it's not a big deal." You look at them. Pause. "No, nothing else." That moment shifts everything, because now they feel it. Psychology, people don't respect what you say. They respect what you stand firm on. Mini loop. But even if you master this, there's one last trap that can destroy everything. Punchline, boundaries don't need to be soft. They need to be solid. Part sync. This is where most people fail. Not because they're weak, but because they're still emotionally attached. Revenge. Micro story 1. They hurt you. You think, "I need to make them feel this." Micro story 2. They talk behind your back. You want to expose them, destroy their image. Feels justified. But this is the deepest trap. Because the moment you want revenge, you're still reacting. You're still tied to them. And anything that can pull your emotions still controls you. Let that sink in. False belief break. Revenge is not power. It's emotional dependence. The truth. Toxic people don't care if you fight them. They care if they can affect you. So what do strong people do? They move on. Completely. No comeback. No explanation. No closure. Micro story 3. They try to pull you into drama. You don't respond. You build your life instead. Focus. Growth. Peace. And then, one day, they see you. Calm. Stable. Unbothered. And that's when it hits them. You're no longer reachable. You're no longer controllable. That's where respect begins. Not because you beat them, but because you left the game. Big realization. You don't win by defeating toxic people. You win by becoming unreachable to them. Final loop close. At the beginning, we talked about control. This is how you take it back. Punchline. The moment they can't move your emotions, they lose all power. Ending.